everyone. Oh, so many friendly faces out there. You know, last year we held our first African Heritage reception, and what a gathering that was. How many of you were here? Raise your hand. Okay, a fair amount. To all of you who were here last year, and to all of you who are first-timers, I say, welcome to Gracie Mansion. This is the people's house. This is your house, and you are always welcome here. Bill and I are so excited to bring this celebration back here again, and I am glad that we have this very large tent, because almost every single one of the 50 nations of the African continent are represented here and throughout the 5 boroughs. And I don't think I've ever seen a more beautiful sight than so many of you in your finery. Is there anyone from Ghana here? How about Ethiopia? Democratic Republic of the Congo? South Africa? Okay, now I'm gonna count to 3, and after 3, I want you all to shout out the name of your homeland. 1, 2, 3. Wow. That was good. That was really good. Now, it is a sadness that I do not know exactly where my ancestors were born. My maternal grandmother's name, Kwashi, would suggest Ghana. DNA testing says Cameroon. But what matters most to me is that I have family and friends right here in New York City from Ghana, Senegal, Zimbabwe, and so many other places. And that is what makes New York City so special. We all come from different places, we speak different languages, we have different faiths, customs, but we are all New Yorkers, and we're all in this together. Tonight we celebrate you and everything you give to this city. It's a night to take pride in your heritage and connect with your neighbors. And it's our way of reminding you that your city has your back. That's right. We've got your back. Now, who cares about our families and communities more than we do? Who? Who? Nobody. Well, that's why we're here. That's why we created Thrive NYC. We want to promote health and wellness for all New Yorkers. We want everyone who is struggling to know there is always help and there is always hope. So, what does that mean? If you have a loved one who is anxious or depressed, someone who is drinking too much or can't get out of bed in the morning, someone who needs a little extra support, we want you, and you don't know what to do because you've never been in this situation before, we want you to know that there is a place for you to call, and the number is 1-88-NYC-WELL. You can call that number and talk to a trained counselor who can give you some advice about what to do or connect you to care. Anyone can call at any time to speak with a trained counselor for free. Did you hear me say free? What did I say? Free. That's right. So 1-888-NYC-WELL is there for you, there for your loved ones or friends, anyone who needs help. Can you say the number with me? It's 1-888-NYC-WELL. Oh, you got to do better than that. 1-888-NYC-WELL. That's still not good enough. We're going to have to keep doing it over and over till I get you all to say it. One more time. 1-888-NYC-WELL. All right, before you leave here, you're going to get tested on it, okay? Will you please spread the word about this number? Because, you know, you never know when someone might need it. You never know. Now, I want to introduce a man who I've been with for 25 years, married 25 years, together 28 years. He's a man who leads our city with exceptional vision and compassion. He is my favorite traveling partner. We actually went together to West Africa, with the whole family, actually. And you know who he is, the love of my life, our mayor, Bill de Blasio.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the People's House. It's your house, and we are so happy to have you here. And aren't we proud of the extraordinary work that our First Lady is doing? Let's thank her. But I want to remind you of one of the other great things that she did. And I want to bring him up here so you can say hello to him. Dante, will you join us for a moment, please? So, Dante, we went to Ghana years ago. And I think Dante looks very stylish in this shirt he bought in Ghana, doesn't he? You can model it, Dante. You got to do a little... There you go. Okay. You did very well. Thank you. All right. Give him a round of applause. He did good. Now, everybody, this is a joyous gathering. It is a time to celebrate all that the African community means to the city of New York. Now, there are some other gatherings tonight in New York City because of UN Week. There are parties all around, but this is the best party in New York City tonight, don't you think? And it is a party filled with spirit and love and joy, but there's a purpose here too, because last year was the very first ever African Heritage reception at Gracie Mansion in the history of New York City, and this year is bigger and better. Now, everybody wanted to be here tonight, including some of the great leaders of our administration and great public servants. So I want to call them out so you can thank them for all the good work they do for this city. I want to thank them. I'm going to tell you all the names quickly. You can applaud for all of them continuously. Our Small Business Services Commissioner, Greg Bishop. Our Immigrant Affairs Commissioner, Bita Mostafi. Our Oath Commissioner, Tanya Richard. Our City Planning Chair, Marisa Lago. The First Lady's Chief of Staff, Roxanne John. And two people who make all of this possible, Gracie Mansion, our Special Events Director, Melissa Brown, and the Executive Director of Gracie Mansion Conservancy, Paul Gunther. And then two very special guests. We have with us tonight the wonderful President of the wonderful Borough of Brooklyn, Borough President Eric Adams. And someone who I always remember to honor and appreciate and thank for all he did for this city, all the leadership he provided, all the people he mentored, and for Shalane and I, he brought us together. Our family wouldn't exist without him, and we always appreciate him. Mayor David Dinkins. And one more thank you to all the international dignitaries here tonight. Let's give them a round of applause as well. So I'm going to say something that I hope every American understands. And I know it from my own experience traveling the world. If you want to understand America, if you want to truly understand the greatness of America, one of the things you need to do is visit Africa. Because when you go to Africa, you learn so much about how this country grew and the traditions and the spirit that was brought here. And people were brought here against their own will in so many cases. We should never sugarcoat that history. And today's generation, thank God, is making a choice to come here. But the contributions of African people over centuries, and particularly the contributions we see today, a whole new generation bringing so much to New York City, so much to America, all I can say is thank you. Thank you, everyone. Now, when we went to Ghana in particular, we had an amazing experience seeing part of the heritage that made up our family, seeing a history that we need to come to grips with, but also seeing so much that reminds us of the contributions to this country. And in New York City, we have learned to do something that I hope all of America will do more and more, which is to remember to say thank you, because when I think of the African communities of this city, I think of entrepreneurs who have created great businesses. I think of artists and musicians who have enriched our lives. I think of teachers and public servants who make this a better city every single day. In fact, we see more and more the imprint of our African communities. The restaurants that you see all over this city, the cultural performances, but here's something that may amaze you. When it comes to the entrepreneurship and the creation of new businesses, African-born entrepreneurs are creating new businesses at 3 times the rate of everyone else in New York City. It's unbelievable. So New York City is better, stronger, more resilient, more creative because of all of you. And I want you to look around the room at everyone here who contributes so much to our city. Look at each other and give your neighbor a round of applause. Now, here's something very important and very serious. Wouldn't it be a shame if because of the political agenda in Washington, if the African community were ignored in the U.S. Census? Wouldn't that be wrong? We can't afford to let that happen, can we? We have, and I hate to say it, but here is a set of decisions made in Washington to actually make it harder to count all of the American people, to make it harder to count people who happen to be immigrants, to ignore, to discount, to degrade the importance of people who make up our communities. We will not let them ignore the African community. And we will not let them denigrate immigrants who come here and give so much to us. So now, I need everyone here tonight, everyone, to join me in promising that you will help make the census a success in 2020. We need everyone counted. So I need you now to join me. Raise your right hand. I'm going to ask you to take a very simple oath. And the oath is this. You're going to repeat after me. I'm going to say it first. I will make sure my community is counted. Ready? I will make sure my community is counted. You are now all deputies, and we thank you. Now, this is a historic event gathering people from dozens and dozens of African nations who are now New Yorkers, who are now part of this greatest city in the world. And we are going to make sure this event goes on for years and years to come, right? This is going to be a permanent part of New York City. We get to honor one person tonight. So we wanted to make sure it was someone very, very special. I'm going to tell you about her before I bring her up here. She was born in Somalia, raised in Egypt and Kenya, and now is a proud New Yorker. She is an advocate for women of color. She is a fashion designer. She is a model. She is a humanitarian and an activist with Keep a Child Alive and Save the Children. And starting this week, she was named Global Advocate for Care, fighting poverty and empowering women all over the world. It is my honor to present to you Iman. Now, we're giving her a proclamation. I want you to know it explains the amazing things she's done in her careers, but in her careers, many careers. Here's the best part, the last line. It says, I, Bill de Blasio, Mayor of the City of New York, do hereby proclaim Thursday, September 26, 2019, in the City of New York as Iman Day. Let us welcome Iman.
Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. And look at you all. Aren't you beautiful? With all your crowning glory and your all African heritage. I am myself, I'm wearing a designer, Ghanaian, English, called Duro Olowu. And you might know him as the proud husband of Thelma Golden, who is the director of Museum in Harlem. So let's get started. First of all, I'd like to thank Charlene and the Mayor de Blasio for this really wonderful legacy that they're going to leave for us, the African descendants who live in America, and specifically who live in New York. So thank you very much. And I hope all the mayors to come after you keep this tradition alive. Thank you. So, of course, I need glasses. I'm 64 years old. But as an African, I still look good. Well, speaking as a person who arrived in New York City as a Somali immigrant, I hope you can somehow now feel how humbled I am to be the recipient of this incredible honor. Believe me, the chance to represent and stand up for New York City's African community is more than an honor on its own. But to furthermore have a municipal proclamation declaring September 26th as New York City's official Iman Day, well, if Iman Day can have any meaning at all, then I hope it's perceived as simply by the word of African heritage. This evening, I'm reminded of the 20-year-old of me who, in 1975, immigrated not to America, but to New York. We all know that there is a fundamental difference. Thank you, Mayor. When I arrived in New York, I had so this evening I'm reminded of the 20-year-old me who in 1975 immigrated not to America, but to New York. And we all know there is a fundamental difference between New York and America. As New Yorkers, we're firm about that distinction. When I arrived in New York, I had an ounce of worldliness about me. I was an average Somali girl who happened to befriend the camera with a smile. So I was brought to Manhattan to smile for the camera more and more. I was terrified leaving home, let alone moving to the world's ultimate metropolis. But from the moment I arrived in New York welcomed me with love and excitement, and I immediately felt at home. I attributed this warmth to New York's famous melting pot of nations and cultures, as exactly you see it in this room. Today, it's nearly 45 years since I left Somalia. And as I steadily climb higher and higher on life's number line, and although my Somali heritage has always been my identity and character, nonetheless, I want to more actively engage the gift of my African heritage. It's for this reason that I've recently joined with the historic U.S. humanitarian relief organization CARE as its first global advocate. CARE does critical work all around the world, and within this, 11 African nations, including my own Somalia. However, what sets CARE apart from other relief organizations is how it joins communities in partnership and solidarity. CARE both learns and helps. As CARE's global advocate and as a proud Somali American, I richly look forward to showing you the world, and not what we can do for Africa, but what Africa can do for us. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you all for coming out tonight. I thank Mayor de Blasio and First Lady Charlene for this incredible honor and opportunity. Now let's party.
That is the right way to end all remarks. Isn't she amazing, everybody? Everyone, I want to thank you again. Thank you for all you do for New York City. Thank you for the pride you take in your heritage and the energy and the joy and the love that you bring to this city. Tonight, we celebrate everyone and we make the city a better place by recognizing the people who make us great. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night.